everyone! So really quick, I just want to apologise about how late this video probably is. If you can't tell, I'm in another room today. I'm currently staying at my sister's and I have my own bedroom and stuff, which is pretty great. But because I'm staying at my sister's, we have very limited internet here, so we don't have like enough data or whatever to upload videos. But I gotta wait until I get back to a place that we're house sitting because there's good internet there to upload this video. So yeah, I'm sorry that it's late. But I had a viewer comment on one of my videos asking if I can do more talking about my spirituality and stuff like that, and I wasn't entirely sure of what to talk about, but since I've been moving around a lot and doing all this house sitting and stuff, I've developed strategies, I guess you could say, of keeping my spiritual items and needs simple, so kind of simplifying things but still being able to practice what I want to practice, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go through my little mini paganism on the road kit, I guess you could say. And I guess this is kind of to give you guys an idea of what maybe you could do to simplify your own spiritual needs if you're traveling or whatever and you know you can't take your whole altar with you and stuff. So it's kind of just the essentials and downsizing but still keeping the necessities. First thing, I have this trusty bag here. It's actually quite tattered now, but this is what I generally carry all of my spiritually things in when I'm on the go. This was actually my mum's. I think she used it for tarot cards or something, and I usually use it for my oracle cards, but these days I just put everything in there because it's got to go somewhere, right? So yeah, this is empty, but that's my little pouch that I keep everything in. One of my favourite things to use is oracle cards. I have a lot of decks of oracle cards, so I just picked out a favourite one, which is one that I find to usually be the most accurate and I'm just the most fond of working with. For me, that is Les Vampires by Lucy Cavendish. This is an amazing oracle deck. It's just always the most accurate for me. I love the illustrations and everything, and I just have like a good bond with it, I guess you could say. So I brought this along. I originally just took this one along, but for Christmas I got a new deck of oracle cards and I didn't want to pack them away, so they've been coming around with me as well. I wouldn't usually take two decks with me, but because it's new I just wanted to. And that's the Tattoo Oracle card deck, which I got from my mum. Yeah, so oracle cards. Some people might prefer tarot cards or they don't even like cards at all, and that's cool too, but this is just my personal preference. Next is a pretty obvious one that I just take everywhere anyway, no matter where I go, or like how long it's for, which is incense. But you know, it just smells good, but I think it still kind of semi goes with the spiritual stuff, so incense. And obviously with that you'd also have a lighter, but I don't know where mine went, so just pretend I have a lighter. And then to kind of go along that theme, I also have my white sage. This is just a smaller stick because you can get really big ones, but I'm just using this one because obviously it's easier to take around with me and stuff, and I like smaller things, I guess. Next though, this is probably kind of a preference thing, but wands. Ooh. To be honest, the only reason that I brought mine with me and didn't pack it was because I just worry about the fragility of it and stuff, and it's really precious to me. But if you want to use a wand but you don't want to take like a big one with you like this, you can, I believe, get really small ones, even like as necklaces for travelling and stuff, so that could work. I don't have one, I only have this one and my other larger ones, but I've seen people do that and I think it's a good idea. Kind of go with that is stuff for spells. Obviously trying to do things like spells on the go with all the different ingredients and things having to be the right timing and all of that stuff, and having to have like a spell book or whatever would be a bit difficult to say the least. So what I have found to be quite useful is kind of pre-made spells, I guess you could say. So here with me I have a spell candle that a friend of mine made. So this is it. It's still in its pouch because I haven't used it yet. This one is for creativity, and in it has some herbs and a crystal to kind of help enhance the energy of it, I guess. And yeah, I'll take it out really quick actually. Here it is. So as you can see there, it's got carved create, and then on the other side goddess. You probably can't see it, but it's there. And the ribbon is there. It's kind of half undone now, but you undo it after you've lit it to kind of unleash the properties of it. So I think that these are very useful. I use them anyway, even when I'm not traveling, but if you are traveling, these would be especially useful because the spell is already there. You just have to light it, and you can get much smaller ones of these as well, like really tiny ones, because obviously not everyone wants to take a big candle like this with them. She has a website as well on there. You probably can't see, but I'll put the link in the description to these if you ever want to get one. I've used some in the past for protection and different stuff like that, and they're really good, and they actually smell so nice, like it's so good. And then from that same person, This is also another sort of pre-made spell thing. It's a pouch, if that makes sense at all. So it's got all these different little things in it. You just hang it up somewhere. Like this one I think was for concentration, so I hung it up at my desk, let it do its thing. So it's got like different herbs and crystals and stuff like that in there. This is again by the person who does the candles as well. So they're obviously quite good because they're pre-made. You don't really have to do anything. You don't have to bring any extra ingredients or whatever. But if you still want to do your own spell books and stuff, I discovered in the iTunes app store, you can probably get it in other stores as well, like that sell apps for whatever kind of phone you have, but you can get digital spell books. My preference is the Spells Lite one, or just Spells because I only have the light version, but if you can see it, it's there. I don't know if you can. So it's got a list of the spells there and stuff, if you can see, and that's just the light version, and they're usually pretty simple. So I think that that's pretty handy if you can't like lug a book around with you. And there's like other ones as well. There's one that's just called Wicca, but I'm not really into Wicca, but I just like having the spells. And there's one called Spellbook, and there's all these different ones. But yeah, I think that can be definitely pretty handy. You can also get mini spell books, I believe. They're like really miniature. I don't know where you get them, but I know that there are people around that have them. I also bring along my pendulums, which I keep in here. I have a couple, and I brought both, but I only use one, which is in a second pouch here. This could all like differ depending on what your spirituality is and what, you know, your favourite tools are and stuff, but this is just my own version. It could be completely different. It's my pendulum. And if you don't have a pendulum or you don't want to take it with you for whatever reason, you can actually use things like jewellery as well. Just anything that really hangs from a string you can use as a pendulum. Like I've used necklaces and stuff like that before and it's still done the trick. So you don't even have to take a pendulum with you at all if you don't want to. You can just use a piece of jewellery. Like you can hang a ring from a string or something, or use a pendant or anything that, you know, that you want, that you can think of. I have my crystals. There are like a set few crystals that I really prefer to work with, which are the ones that I brought. Obviously I'm keeping things small and like miniature because I don't want to lug around like huge crystal points or whatever with me. So I have like a handful of mostly tumbled crystals because they seem more durable than points and stuff. So then for other crystals that I have, like I just have a few that are not tumbled but are ones that are my favourites and I have a strong connection with or whatever that I really prefer to work with. So for me that is this one that I got from my mum. I have my Moldavite, also just because I like to wear it. There we go. And wherever I have this one, I also have my smoky quartz to reground myself. So yeah, other two favourites, Labradorite if you can see it, and black obsidian. I have citrine and jade, which is a horse, and this recent one, which is, I think this was celestite or something. It's a skull. I was given that one. So yeah, those are the crystals that I have. So it's really, like, it might seem like a lot, but it's just a little bundle of my preferred ones. Depending on how long you'll be gone for, you may need more or less or whatever you prefer. The next thing is if you work well with having like representations of your deities or gods or goddesses that you prefer to work with, there's a number of things that you can do for replacements for that, because I know that the statues that you can get that are like that tall to have in your altar are quite popular, but obviously they're kind of too big to take around with you. So one thing that I've seen people do is if they have a deck of oracle cards and they have certain angels or goddesses or something, or some kind of thing that they feel represents that deity that they prefer to work with and have a representation of, they'll use that instead of like a statue or something. And you can also get little like charms and pendants and stuff that have a little picture or something like that of your preferred deities that you like to work with or whatever. For example, I don't know where it's gone because I had it in my hair but it fell out and I put it somewhere and I don't know where it is, but I had a little pendant of a god Kokopelli, so if I knew where it was I'd use that. I also have this little one that you probably can't see, but it's Archangel Michael because I work mainly with angels actually. So it's got him on there, it says his name and everything. I used to have this in my hair but it fell out. And to go along with that theme, I also have this pendant which is an Eye of Horus or Eye of Ra. And then there's also how often when people have their altar, like if you want to set up a little mini altar or something, usually there's the altar pentacle. So in its place you could put like a pendant of a pentacle. That's kind of it. So yeah, I hope that was somewhat informative and that you enjoyed, and I'm also sorry about the flickery light and junk in the background. It's just anything going on, and that, like, I have my weird band-aid because that probably looked kind of gross. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.